Is this the sign the Great Reset is falling apart? Now, things are escalating fast. While it seems the world is rushing into a dystopian globalist agenda, with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab having massive influence over the world, we also have the World Health Organization, the IMF, the UN, the EU, and many other NGOs, or non-government organizations, creating more rules, more regulations like ESG than we can keep up with. And while I know it seems like we're rushing to a future of ESG, CBDCs, digital IDs, and more, history actually tells us a different story. And if we know what to look for and what signs to watch out for, we can see that history shows us what comes next, and it's actually coming. So in this video, I'm going to break down what this globalist agenda is, why it's failing right before our very eyes, the signs we can see right now, what big events happened just this week that signal a massive shift or barrier to their agenda, what the threats and risks are because of this, and of course, what you and I should be watching and doing as all this unfolds. So let's go. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss, and I make these videos to change the way you think about money, because almost everything you've learned is wrong. And I am just back from Mexico, where I was speaking at the Nomad Capitalist event, and I am encouraged because of the amount of people I was hanging around with that are freedom-minded and freedom-focused and building towards a more free world. I couldn't be more encouraged by that and these events that just happened this week that really demonstrate where we're going. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video. Okay, first of all, the Great Reset. I've talked about it extensively. I don't need to give you a long warm-up on this. I've probably got a dozen videos on this channel about this. There's a playlist. We'll link to it right here if you want to go watch more videos about what the playlist is. I'm sorry, what the Great Reset is, the origin, all that. I just did a video with Robert Kiyosaki on Rich Dad Radio, almost 2 million views about this. So people are waking up to it. I don't need to go super deep. Of course, the Great Reset, our good old buddy here, Klaus Schwab. I don't know what's up with this outfit. Yeah, this is the guy running the world, I guess, right? Leave me your comment and tell me what your best idea of where this outfit came from. But of course, he's the head of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, founded in 1971. Of course, that's the same time that we got off the gold standard and we got into this unlimited fiat money system that we have today. He says some crazy things like this. So this came out in 2020. The pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and of course, reset our world. So the pandemic gave him a perfect opportunity to reset the world. But what if we don't want the world reset? Now, I've been making these videos for a long time. YouTube loves to flag them for misinformation. There might be one on this video down below. But of course, it's his own words. This book was written by none other than Klaus Schwab. So it's not some conspiracy. He wrote the book. I've read the book. In other videos I've done, I've shown you I have the book. I don't have it in front of me right now. But you can go to Amazon, you can order the book, and you can read it as well. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to read this book. I encourage you to read the book before, which is The Fourth Industrial Revolution. I don't like to repeat what the books say because you might think I'm crazy. So I'd prefer you read them yourself. But he wrote the book on this. And of course, they have their goals for 2030. You might have heard of those goals before, which is, you'll own nothing, be happy. Well, not if I can do anything about it, not if you can do anything about it, and not if the rest of the world can do something about it, and they are. So we're going to talk about this. Now, of course, he says we need to reset the world. This is why you see the entire world talking about this: build back better, build back better, build back better, build back better. What does that mean? Well, what is building back? So that means it must have been torn down or destroyed to build it back, or reset. So reset, then build it back. Of course, all the world leaders are in on this. Now, the one thing that I want to just point to is this signifies what I'm calling peak centralization, central planning, central control. Instead of me being able to live my life as I see fit, or my city allowing me to have certain freedoms, or my county or my state, no, it's federal government. And not just federal government, now it's being set by Davos, the EU, etc. Let's dig into that a little bit further. And then we'll dig into what we're seeing this week. So I've done also a bunch of videos on this, my 3 revolutionary cycles: political, financial and technological cycles that are converging. Today we're just looking at one. This is the 250-year political revolution cycle. And what this means is the world is basically like a pendulum that swings from centralization to decentralization on a 250-year time frame. So here we are right here. About 250 years ago we were here, which was the American Revolution and the French Revolution, of course, pushing back on the central authority of the monarchy and setting up a decentralized government. The United States is a republic, independent states. 250 years before that was the Protestant Reformation. All right, so you can see how this just repeats. Now, this cycle right here, which is where we're living in right now, I've been using this chart for about a year and a half now. You can see decentralized revolution starts, as I put, 2017 to 2033. It's a period, it's a process, because like a pendulum, well, let's say like a pendulum, if it was going to swing this way and then it swings this way, the time it sits in this area, it has to go up and back down. So it takes a long time. So 2017 to 2033. Now, how can we be sure that's where we're at? And how can we be sure that this is when it started, 2017? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Let me show you a couple signposts so you can follow along here. So here's an article. This was over 5 years old. And this says, Trump and Brexit and the Age of Popular Revolt, 2016. 2016 was when Trump was elected. 2016 was when Brexit, when the UK decided to break apart from the EU. The centralization of the EU, the UK said, no, we reject that. We want to be in our own independent country. They're rejecting centralization. Trump was a sign that we were rejecting the establishment. And so we can see this, but we have other signs. The rest of the ones in this article, you might understand some of these. So here, the dark history of Donald Trump, right-wing revolt. Remember, the right wing, the extreme right wing, we don't want centralization. We think that we should be free to direct our own lives. How extreme. Technology disrupted the truth. This is a big piece. Remember, 3 cycles, political, financial, and technological. Technology always has the biggest effect. Technology disrupted the truth. It says here, ushering in a new era when everyone has their own facts. Now back to 250 years ago, American Revolution. 250 years before that was the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation, when the people, 70 years before, got a new piece of technology, a brand new piece of technology that was what? The printing press. The printing press allowed people to get their own books and read for themselves instead of depending on what the government told them. When the people were able to get their own information, they said, wait a minute, what you've been telling us all along is a lie, which is exactly what they're saying in here, ushering in an era when everyone has their own facts. We don't have to listen to what the government tells us in the newspaper in the morning or on the 3 channels of nightly news anymore. Now we have real information. How the education gap is tearing politics apart. It's splitting voters into 2 increasingly hostile camps. Those that want to be indoctrinated and those that don't want to be. Those that want to be sheeple and those that want to think for themselves. What else does this article point out as the turning point that I'm signifying here? Let's see. The cult of the expert and how it collapsed. Class of omnipotent central bankers. The central bankers, the experts, do we trust them? Are they blowing up the world right now? Do you really believe they have your best interest in mind, and do you really believe they can control the situation? If so, I might have a bridge to sell you. It says, will a populist backlash shatter their technocratic dream? Will a populist, will the people rise up and say, we want what the people want? The people against the government, that's what it is. Welcome to the age of Trump. Again, back to that. Us versus them, the birth of populism. Okay, so this is what their definition is. It pits the people against the establishment. Its rise is a warning sign that the status quo is failing. So it pits the people against the establishment. There should be no establishment. There's people. There's my best interest. There's your best interest. We come together collectively when our interests align. There should be no us versus the government. Remember, the government are public servants supposed to be working for us. It should never have been that. This week, I told you I was just in Mexico. meeting with a bunch of freedom lovers. I got to sit down and hang out with Nigel Farage. He's the one that led the Brexit party. Not only did I get to hear him speak, I got to sit down one-on-one and spend about 30 minutes with him and really get to understand the belly of the beast, what it was like working with the EU Commission, what it's like working with the ECB, with the UK government, the belly of the beast. This guy has been there, and let me tell you, he sees the exact same thing, how the Brexit and the Trump party really signified something big. Now, the pendulum is swinging back, all right? So we're reaching peak centralization, and it's just now starting to break back. Now we can see that the peak centralization is failing. And we can see it all over the place. Of course, their policies are disaster. Sri Lanka, the first country to destroy itself by going green. Now, they went and took the World Economic Forum's ESG policy, put them into place. They said by 2025 they'd be the richest nation. Instead, they crushed the nation. Instead, they went bankrupt. They went overrun by the people. But they had a 98 out of a 100 ESG score. So good job on that. Of course, that didn't work out too well for them. We can see these policies are failing left and right. Here we have, you have no idea how bad Europe's energy crisis is. Well, I do. I've been reporting on it for 2 years when people thought I was crazy warning there was an energy crisis coming. Let's go ahead and link that video up right here from 2 years ago. People thought I was crazy, but yet here we are. Natural gas prices are 10 times the usual. Why? Because central planners have put these policies into place. This isn't natural. All right, this is put into place. Now, we can also see, so it's failing, we can also see that it's being rejected. The people, the populist uprising, the people against the government, the people realize it's the government leaders that are doing this to them. As a matter of fact, we can see it all over the world. This is the Carnegie Tracker. This lists the countries that have protests that are rising. Now, all of these right here are just in the last 60 days. These are new protests that have erupted just since July and August. That's it. We're talking about Madagascar, Kosovo, India, Guinea, North Macedonia, Hungary, Haiti, Somalia, Sierra Leone, Thailand, Peru, South Africa, Kosovo, Kenya, Hungary, CAR, Bangladesh, Argentina. That's just in the last 60 days. It is erupting everywhere. As a matter of fact, I could sit here and show you pictures all day. For the sake of time, I won't. Here we have protests and blockades in Haiti. Here we have, over here, we have Pakistan. Here we have Prague. Oh, I'm sorry, that's South Africa. We have more. I put these together just to save some time. Prague, 50,000 people. Lebanon, closing banks. People have to break in to get their money out. Here we have Tunisia. It's happening all over again. I could sit here and show you these pictures all day, but for the sake of time, I won't. You get it. The people realize that their policies are failing. They don't want them anymore. They are pushing back on this. All right, now, there was big movement this week that gave me a lot of hope, and so of course I want to share the information with you because I want you to have hope too. It's not all doom and gloom. All right, now, what am I talking about? Italy. In Italy, they are electing a new prime minister. We're talking about Giorgia Meloni, and she claimed victory to become Italy's most far-right, extreme prime minister since Mussolini. Oh, the comparison to Mussolini. Oh, she is so bad. She is extreme far right. Now, when do you hear them saying extreme far left? Right? Do you ever hear that? Everyone's far right, extreme far right. That's what we hear. Like Mussolini, she is so bad. Let's break this down a little bit. Extreme far right. Now, the EU warned Italy that you better not elect her because if you do, there's going to be some problems. Let's dig into that for a minute here. Okay, so I tweeted this the other day. If you needed another signpost of the 250-year cycle pendulum, the one that we're talking about right now, swinging back, hard from centralization to decentralization, this is it. The globalist plans will not succeed. The new PM calls out the, quote, financial speculators. She called them out by name. The Keynesian planners, and calls for a time to, quote, take it back. Now, I'll link to the video if you want to watch the video. It's like a 2-minute video of what her speech said. I would encourage you to watch it. I put it on my Instagram as well. If you're not following me on Twitter and Instagram, you should. It's just one Mark Moss on Instagram and Twitter. Just go ahead, take a second, pull your phone out, and go ahead and follow me there right now. Oh, while you're at it, you can like this video too. Okay, now, here's a couple things that she said. She said, why is the family an enemy? You might be asking yourself that. The people all around the world are asking themselves that. Why is the family the enemy all of a sudden? Why is the family so frightening? She said there's a single answer to these questions. Because it defines us. It defines who we are. Why is that a problem? Well, because it's our identity. Because everything that defines us is now an enemy for those who would like us to no longer have an identity. Ooh, that's heavy. And to be perfect consumer slaves. They don't want us to have an identity. They want us to be a number on a spreadsheet, an automaton. This is something my co-author, Alex Fetsky, and I have talked about at great length in our new book, the UnCommunist Manifesto. It's been on Amazon for about a month. Let's link to that right here. We'll also put a link down below. Get the UnCommunist Manifesto if you haven't. It's on Amazon. But we talk about how these Keynesians, how these central planners want to pretend that we're just a line on a spreadsheet. That's why they want us to all be equal. So we're the same. So we're very predictable. And we can just be perfect consumers, in her words. They don't want us to be individual. Now, she went on to say that she can't define herself as Italian, a Christian, a woman, a mother. No. She can't do that. Instead, she must be a citizen X, a gender X, a parent 1, a parent 2. I must be a number, she says. That's what they want, a perfect consumer. She wanted to say, that's why we inspire so much fear. Because we do not want to be numbers. We want to be people. We want to be individuals. We will defend the value of the human being. That's what she says. That's what she said to the people that elected her. We will not be a number. We will defend the value of the human being. She said it's sacred. We will defend it. We will defend God, country, and family. Turns out the people like that. Turns out the central planners don't like that, but the people do. They elected her. Those things that distinguish people so much, we will do it, and we will defend our freedom because we will never be slaves, she said. Then she quotes Chesterton from over a century ago. Chesterton said, fires will be kindled to testify that 2 and 2 make 4. Swords will be drawn to prove that leaves are green in summer. What does that mean? 2 + 2 = 4. Of course it does. But they don't want you to believe that. They want you to believe whatever they want you to believe. Whatever they say is 2 + 2 = 5. Guys can be girls. You can be a unicorn. There's no such thing as truth. Well, there is. And that's what she's saying right here. Fires will be kindled to testify that 2 + 2 = 4. That truth is there. Truth is absolute. Swords will be drawn to prove that leaves are green in summer. What does that mean? The sword of truth. We will stand up. We will defend truth is what she's saying. That time has arrived, and we are ready. Now, it's no wonder why the people like her. Of course, you want to be respected. You want to be identified as a person, as an individual, as do I. I want my family unit to be respected. We want to take care of our families. We want to live our life. We don't want to be parent 1 and parent 2, a number on a sheet. We don't want to believe that 2 + 2 = 5. So it's no surprise that the people overwhelmingly picked her. It's also no surprise that the establishment, the EU Commission, threatened her. As a matter of fact, you won't believe what they said. Well, maybe you've already seen it. Good old Ursula von der Leyen of the EU Commission, she says they threaten the Italians, quote, we will see the result of the vote in Italy. If things go in a difficult direction, we have tools. So we're going to watch what happens in Italy. But if you elect somebody that we don't like, if you elect somebody that goes in a different direction than what we're trying to go through, then we'll handle it. That's what she said. We have tools, as in the case of Poland and Hungary. So they've already done things in Poland and Hungary to make sure things go their way, and she's threatening Italy as well. Now, what kind of things can they do? Let's look at some of these attack vectors, now that you understand why they hate her so much. All right, what do they actually threaten? Well, if you've been watching my videos, then you already know Italy has money problems. Italy has massive money problems. The pigs, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain, the southern nations in Europe, they got problems. They got very old populations. They don't have good exports. They spend way too much money. They don't make enough. They have massive amounts of debt, and there's just no way they can keep going unless, one, they quit spending more than they're making, two, figure out a way to make more, or something. It's just not working. And so they have massive money problems. Italy needs money from the European Central Bank, from the ECB. So with money comes strings. In the Bible, it says that the borrower is servant to the lender. And that's exactly what the case is. What we can see here, let's break this problem down. So the Italian budget law for 2023 has the top priorities for this new government that she's going to move into, okay? The many tax-friendly reforms that they want to put through. So she's going to come in and she's going to fire it up. She's going to change the system, right? She wants tax reforms. Tax-friendly reforms the coalition is proposing on energy, bills, pensions, and corporate taxes, etc. All right, so she wants to overhaul this. She wants to change the system for the people, okay? But the problem is it's about 50 to 55 billion euro, or about 3% of GDP, what they want to do. The net deficit spending to be financed via issuing bonds, right? So where do they get this difference of money? If they want to reform these taxes, they don't have the money. Where do they get the spending, the about 50 to 55 billion they need? Well, they're getting it from net deficit spending, which means debt. And they get that debt by issuing bonds, right? Okay. The potential target would be government bonds, of course, right? So the government would issue the bonds to take on the money to borrow debt. But that's the problem. The ECB, European Central Bank, has activated a transmission protection instrument, TPI, to make sure they can keep tightening policy without, right, because all the nations are trying to tighten. The US, the Federal Reserve, is tightening monetary policy. So the ECB wants to tighten monetary policy. So they want to make sure that they can continue tightening policy without Italian spreads being an issue. So they want to continue tightening, but they don't want to blow Italy out of the water. They don't want to crush them, right? So that is the crux of the problem. Now we can keep seeing here, it says that the activation of the TPI requires Italy not to be in a macroeconomic imbalance or excessive deficit procedure. So remember, to create these massive tax reforms is going to push them into a deficit. The problem is, in order to get this consideration from the ECB, they have to not be an excessive deficit procedure. Now currently, Italy fulfills that at the moment. But if the new government budget proposals are very aggressive, the European Commission could deny them, deny the money. Remember, borrower servant to the lender. The ECB, European Central Bank, has delegated their decision-making on backstopping Italy to who? Oh, the European bureaucrats, the unelected leaders that run this. The ECB, the European Central Bank, has delegated the decision-making to the European bureaucrats. I don't expect Meloni to start on a very friendly foot. It's a basic negotiation tactic. Good job, Meloni. You won. The people spoke. That's what the people want. Problem is, you can't get by without our money. And if you want our money, it comes with massive strings. So basically, all the things that you said you were going to do for the people that they wanted, that they elected you on, yeah, you can't do any of that. You just have to go along with our centrally planned initiatives. That's what they're basically saying, and that's what they're going to do. All right. Now that sounds very discouraging, doesn't it? No. I have hope. I have massive hope. The people are rising up. The politicians, the governments, the unelected bureaucrats, they don't have the power. They have the money, but the financial system is failing right before our very eyes. We're witnessing in Great Britain, the bonds are crashing like we've never seen. Their currencies are crashing. The ECB is back against the wall. Japan's going down. The financial system is being reset. Remember, we're talking about one revolutionary cycle. There's three converging: political, financial, and technological. I have hope. The human drive for freedom is strong. You can't deny this. You see it all throughout history. Human ingenuity, our ability to innovate, our ability to create new things, it's unlimited. We have the game plan. What's the game plan? We have a way to hit them where it hurts. Where's that? In the pocketbook. When I sat down with Nigel Farage, I asked him, where's the attack vector? He said, the only way is economic. It's the only way. Vote with your money. Put your money where you want it to go, where it supports your best interest. Pull your money out of their system, out of their stock market, out of their bond market. Pull it out. Now, where you want to put it, I don't know. That could be Bitcoin, out of their system. It could be gold. It could be land. It could be cattle. but don't play their game. We have a tool. In my opinion, that's Bitcoin. You may want to hold gold. I'd say we're fighting the same fight. We're aligned. We want a human drive for freedom. We see the problem. We have the solution. And it's up to us to push it forward. That's what I think anyway. I have hope. Do you have hope? Leave me a message down below. Yes, I have hope. No, all hope is lost. Then we might as well just give up now. And I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see those. As always, give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it. If you don't, that's okay. Give me a thumbs down. But at least tell me why in the comments down below. That's what I got. To your success. I'm out.